Markets Now is brought to you by the 5-year anniversary of Brevant Seeds. Here's to 5 years of not just winning, but collecting one game-changing W after another. See all of our wins at brevant.com/wins.
And welcome to Markets Now. I'm Michelle Rourke with Scott Varilek of Kooima Varilek. And we're seeing as we get through the early part of Friday morning, some strength over in the livestock futures. The grains have been mostly lower. Well, Scott, like I said, a little recovery today in the cattle market, but we have been chopping back and forth here. Still pretty sideways, though, if you look at a chart, right?
Yeah, thanks for having me. And it has, yes, volatile, but fairly sideways. I think I slept so hard last night, my back hurts. I mean, that's how getting good sleep. Yeah, it's welcomed that it's a little bit sideways for a lot of us cattle traders, but trying to be a little bit higher today, not really breaking out either way, which feels okay. You know, we've got several things to look at that are kind of pulling it apart between cash feeders and cash live cattle. So I can handle it. So I guess as far as the sideways trade, we'll look at this 230 as the bottom side for D's cattle. That's going to be pretty important to see if we want to hold that for any chart damage there, in my opinion.
All right. So 230, I wrote that down as far as support on December live cattle. Let's talk about the negatives, get them out of the way first. Box beef values, choices corrected over $50 off the highs. Northern cash trade has been lower again this week. Is that the main reason that we've come off of the highs that we've had?
It's one of the reasons. It's
okay.
Like it is the elephant in the room, to steal your term. Seeing how much these boxes have broke. I mean, we had nice high prices for Labor Day demand, and usually we do break after that. But when you see it $50, takes your breath away for a second there. So you want to know, okay, is our overall demand picture really changing? For me, I don't necessarily think so. We may have hit some price points that started to pull people away. So we usually do break this time of year, coming from, not record high boxes, but at record high cattle prices. Yeah, the breaks are going to be a little bit, more on the larger size, but it can kind of drag on here through October. We always feel like we're just 2 weeks away from this market turning around, when indeed it actually is just a little bit longer than that. And then usually can kind of maybe finish strong through the end of the year. So probably some more sloppy boxed beef trade is expected, in my opinion. So that's part of the reason we're breaking. Other would just be, Northern cash slipping just a little bit here, not far off the all-time highs of 245 in a time of the year when usually we're not making record highs in August, but we did. Had a long extended period of 245, and now we're down here at 230. Taking some of that in the north. And I think expectations were 227 to 229 coming into the week. So that was where we were landing. So 230, I think we felt good about it. We loved 230 when it happened here the first time. And now the difference between now and some of these other wrecks that we had is 230. These cattle make a lot of money at this price. So we don't have a producer that's saying, I can't make any money on these cattle. I'm going to fight it and I'm going to feed them. We have plenty of guys saying, I want to cash in. I want to sell them. Give me some of this 230. Let's sell some extra loads as well. So it's going to help us stay current because we're sitting in a good situation here.
Southern cash, have you heard much?
That's been quiet. I mean, through yesterday, there was absolutely zero negotiated cash in Texas and zero in Kansas. So not even trying to move the needle there. Have not heard what they're going to do.
Well, it's the first of a new month, so they probably have formula cattle to pull, don't they?
Yeah, they just have to get some sort of cattle trade to establish that base, but they have formula cattle week over week, so I don't know if so much on month end is going to affect it too much, but that's how they do business down there. It's all formula cattle. They just need to buy a few just to set a base price, and then everybody gets their deal.
Okay, the rumors about screwworm and some of the talk about when we reopen the border, those continue to kind of proliferate the market here, though, and influence it, right?
Yeah. And even in this office, we have long drawn out debates on how this actually affects the market. And I think that's just the uncertainty that surrounds it. So we see a 32% increase in cases for the screwworm in Mexico. Okay, that's not a good sign, not something that's going to say you're opening the border. And now you've got a government that's shut down. So not making any headway on any studies or any kind of plans to open the border now. So that's come to a halt. And then the other side, okay, so injectable Dectamax has been proven to work on prevention of this. So that's a sign. Hey, maybe something we can help to get it under control, but that's not going to happen overnight. I don't know if it's going to be deemed as a cure-all. Like, okay, here's the thing: we just all got to take this vaccine and we're good. I don't think that's going to in turn just eradicate it. So still a lot of work to be done. Still enough news down there that says that's going to be shut. Now the big thought is, okay, what happens when it gets here?
Right.
We know that the market, every time we've had rumors of it getting here, severely down, limit down, we're really scared of it. So how's the consumer going to handle it, I guess, is my biggest question. Are they going to get scared like it was African swine fever or African swine flu, or when we had the swine flu, I guess, they turned away from pork? Will they do that to beef, when in all actuality, it's not going to affect the product that you have on the meat case? It's going to be okay. So for me, there's going to be a break, but in turn, I think it is actually it's a hindrance on production. It's not going to be affecting what we're putting on the tables. So there is going to be a spot you're going to want to buy that break. Don't think it's going to be on the first day because it's going to be a wild ride, and from these high prices. So that's our wrestle. I wish I could just have a clear, concise answer, but I think the border is going to be shut for a little while here. I'm not going to be as negative if the screwworm does get into the United States as the rest of the market. I'll be looking for opportunities that way, but not right away.
So meanwhile, bright shining star is the fact that cash feeders have still stayed strong, and those numbers are completely tight, aren't they?
Yeah, that is for sure the bright shining star. I love how you put that. I mean, it's just been what we've stand on. Feeders are the leaders. That's a big reason why we're at these high prices. And these feeder futures have tried to break several times. We've had limit down days, but cash feeders just stay on and stay strong, which is very impressive. The thing I'm just a little worried about is now, by my, cowboy math calculations, about 6 weeks in a row now that we've had feeders that you've bought, they have not had a price on the board that they work. You're buying them, betting on the come. That's a normal, that's how cattle can trade. It's not like that's never been done before. That's what we're used to. But now that you're getting 6 weeks of that inventory that has not had it, get a little nervous when we have several weeks of inventory that we've never had a chance to even lock in a profit in, or even a break even. You start to have a hiccup in the market. You've got a lot of nervous individuals that have cattle that they have not done any marketing on yet. So can be a little bit of a trap, but ultimately, I love what I see on these cash prices. They're still tight. Yep, I think we've got some heifer retention. Some of the reasons we're tight. But just a small coward. We can't build this herd fast. It's not like the hog industry where you start turning the crank. We've got more numbers coming. It takes years to rebuild, and that's still just evident in the sale barns here.
Yeah, it's like turning the Titanic for sure. Well, you mentioned hogs, and we've had a correction off the contract highs here, even though we had a very bullish hogs and pigs report. So do you think that we're trying to bounce this morning, but do you think the high is in?
I believe so. I really do. I thought that before the hogs and pigs report, listening to my producers, there's more inventory. I felt like the 50 pounds and under was something that was probably going to be a little bit negative, and thought we would have more production coming down the pipeline. And that one hit me on the side of the face, something I didn't really have plugged in. And then the market really didn't react to it that much, just pretty short gains and then turn to the break. So it's doing more of what I feel like it should do. I think we have more numbers coming, more. We're just a few weeks away from really turning into more numbers, and now you're seeing that cash slip below 100 for the first time, and I think that's going to be the case. So I think we're on the downward move. We took out some support. The funds really started to whack out of some of their longs as the open interest really started to dwindle. So I feel like it's a little bit heavy right here. I still think these are lofty prices and something that, a producer would be interested in selling. So still think there's tough days ahead for the hogs.
Gotcha. Okay, grains struggling just a little bit this morning. We've had a good recovery off of this week's lows here, I guess on China hopes for the most part, but we're getting up into chart resistance now. So can we keep going here, especially with harvest pressure coming at us as well?
Slowly. It's going to feel pretty slow. The needle got moved a little, when Trump starts talking on X, I'm going to take care of you guys. We're going to make sure we get some payments out to you guys with these struggles. And I believe that's going to be the case. And then there's just that hope that we're going to get a bunch of bean sales to China, which, okay, so you can put a little bit of premium in the market thinking maybe that's possible, but kind of run out of gas here. I don't know that we hard stone believe it yet, that it's going to happen. It feels like we're months away from possibly seeing something like that, in my opinion. But so yeah, we're still harvesting. We've got a lot of grain coming in. Yields are pretty good. Maybe not the large expectations we initially had, but going to see some of that pressure. The market can rally and then the basis stays pretty poor. So
Right.
It's not like we're seeing that strength in the basis, strength in the cash. So we're finding producers that want to sell and are willing to sell, and maybe re-owning some on the board. I still think there's some hopes. If we break a little bit here, I'll be interested in some of that re-ownership. But when you get a 15-cent rally in corn or a 20-cent rally in beans, that's hard to chase. There's not that follow-through power that we have. Funds are just still about neutral beans and pretty short on corn yet. So it would take something a little bit more to shake those trees to try to get them out. So still going to be a slow mover. That's what I expect here, but am interested as an end user to kind of looking at buying some of these breaks here.
Okay, yeah, we got to get through 425 and I think 1025 on Novi beans before we can keep this rally alive, right?
Yep. I think there's some pretty easy spots you can look at. And I mean, even if we break them, I don't know if it's, I'm interested in the first 20-cent rally, not the, buying a call way above the market and thinking it's going to get to there. So I think the rallies are going to be short. You're going to want to catch those first moves.
All right. Thanks so much. As always, Scott Varilek with Kooima Varilek. That is market.
You were right.
You were right.
You were right.
Well, you were right. When you choose your seed brand, there's winning, and then there's...
You were right. Should have gone with Brevant seeds.
When you choose Brevant seeds, you don't just win. You get to be right. Don't just win. Win. Talk with your retailer or visit Brevant.com/win to get started.